But Cole Palmer from Manchester City to Chelsea. And this one was a little interesting for me because pre-season it looked good. I mean, Community Shield, scored an absolute banger. And Doku comes in and then it just changes it for him. A wide playing midfielder plying his trade potentially at Chelsea, or has that deal gone through?
Just very briefly, before David gives you chapter and verse on Cole Palmer, it's interesting if you contrast what the guy that we were just talking about, not Lukaku but Cucurella. This is the new Chelsea recruitment plan, coming into force from last year. You remember, Cucurella was signed for 55 million, 6-year contract. Everyone's going, why are you signing big money players on these long contracts? They've now completely switched, and now we're getting an insight into what they really want to do. And this is a longer-term planning move for Cole Palmer.
Yeah, so Chelsea, exactly as Adam says, they're targeting top young players, whether it be in the UK or abroad. They also signed a young left-back from Everton who was on the bench last night, and you just look through the squad profile. I think they've gone from being one of the older teams to one of the, if not the youngest, in these opening weeks of the season. It caught us by surprise, but equally I'm aware that Chelsea had been looking at Palmer quite closely and studying his situation. I think the feeling was that he was not gettable because of the good pre-season and early season that you mentioned. However, Manchester City have become masters at trading out, selling at a profit in recent times for senior players, for academy graduates, and don't worry, they've got a conveyor belt more. He was seen as being one of the big prospects for them. I was told that at around the age of 16, there was some doubt about whether he would get a contract at Manchester City, but the academy head at the time, Jason Wilcox, stepped in and ensured he did get an offer. And then during the COVID period, there was a group of young players who got drafted into first team training, and Wilcox pushed to make sure Cole Palmer wasn't left out. And while he was there, he caught Pep Guardiola's eye and he really liked him. And that's why he's spoken publicly so effusively about him. But when push comes to shove and these sorts of offers come in, and we don't know the whole circumstances. I read that he was a Manchester United fan and, he wants to be playing regular first team football, which is understandable. And Chelsea are putting the money on the table. So it's 40 plus 2.5 million in add-ons, I was told. Others reporting slightly different figures. Done in rapid time, undergone his medical on the day we record this. Maybe it does suit all parties, and Manchester City at the same time are bringing in Matheus Nunes from Wolverhampton Wanderers. So I don't know on this one. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see if he becomes what he clearly has the potential to, and that's one of the top young English players. He's shown flashes of it at the Euro Under-21s and for City, and now Chelsea will hope to be the beneficiaries.
I'm just thinking it from his perspective. He's looking at that squad. They've got a fair few wide players, Sterling, Madueke and Modric. Modric really hasn't hit the ground running. He must be thinking, you know what? If I'm putting the performances I was putting in for City, I could get a little spot here ahead of this lad who was heralded as the next big thing, right? Big signing fee coming from the Ukraine.
Yeah, and I mean, you remember when Modric first signed, the narrative was, I'm here at Chelsea, but I did quite fancy going to Arsenal. So
and I think Arsenal fans are thinking, thank God.
It has been a difficult time for him settling in, new country, everything that's been going back in his homeland. But I think that the premise at the moment at Chelsea, especially from Mauricio Pochettino, from what I'm hearing from people inside Chelsea, is that he's very much giving everyone an opportunity, especially the younger players. Doesn't necessarily want to have a huge squad. I know that might go against what we're seeing, but don't have a huge squad. Let's let these young guys perform and give them an actual opportunity. Because if you have a traffic jam in front of you, that could affect performance. It can affect your mental state and all that. So, Cole Palmer does have an opportunity. But I think other players also will be thinking the same, that, I've got a manager that is now giving youth a chance or is there to develop us. And that's the key change, I think, at Chelsea at the moment.
If you like this video, click subscribe for more content like this. We'll be joined by the likes of David Ornstein, Matt Slater, Adam Crafton, Carl Anker, and plenty more through the season to bring you the inside track to the biggest stories in football. If you'd like to listen to the full episodes for free, Search the Athletic Football Podcast wherever you get your podcasts from.